All right. I'm going to go ahead and finish up my Army Life in Germany first tour today, this weekend. And next week, we're going to go to my next duty station. Those of you who've been watching Army Life may know where that's at because I think I've said it. Those who haven't really remembered or anything, next week, you'll find out. I'm not going to tell you. But I'm pretty much out of stories for the first tour. Got a couple here. I was stationed with this guy, or this guy came into the unit. His name was Wells. Now, Wells was a guy that had zero common sense. He just, no common sense. But this guy was intelligent. You ask him anything about science or, chemical equations or math or science fiction, I mean, he would give you the answer like that. The guy was a Star Trek junkie. He would tell you nomenclatures. Well, he talked, and he kind of talked like this. He once said, I had sex with this girl for 14 hours at the Jimi Hendrix Festival. It's just a trip. Has anybody ever heard of a Jimi Hendrix Festival, which would have taken place in the 80s, mid-80s? But he was a Star Trek junkie. Like he said, well, they used the N471 taser in the first season of Star Trek. Then they went to the NAK-4352 for the Enterprise, which was the X-1740. I don't know. I know nothing about Star Trek. I watch Star Trek, but he was just a trip, man. This guy was, we would drink until we were really inebriated, and then we'd go find Wells and sit and have conversations with this guy. I mean, that's the best entertainment in the world, man. He was just out there. You could sit and talk to the guy for hours. But I remember he had spots in his head, and it was really weird. And when I say spots, I mean not really spots, but missing hair. We had real short hair in the Army, and then he would have these circles where there was missing hair. It was almost like mange, or ringworm. That was freaking weird. He had green all on the back of his neck because he never bathed. I don't know that he ever really showered. Sometimes he would get in the shower, but I don't think he washed his neck because he'd get out of the shower and he would have green around the back of his neck. It was really weird. Sergeant one time had to stand in the shower with him, hand him a big wire toilet brush with a big bar of soap and stand there like this and watch Wells shower. And you could hear because we had a one-man shower in the barracks I was at my first time I was in Germany. And our barracks was a real small barracks, and they were there was 8 rooms. 4 on this side, 4 on this side. Well, no, 7 rooms, I'm sorry. 4 on this side, 3 on this side with the shower. And you went in the shower and you would lock the door and you would shower and everything, and you'd come out of the shower. We used to hang the fire. We had this fire bell. There was a long stainless steel tube painted red that had a stainless steel, bar running up through the middle of it, and you'd go like cling-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling if there was a fire. We used to hang that on the shower door, and we'd go in our room and sit. You knew when the guy came out of the shower because you'd hear clang, 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 because the thing was falling on the floor. And they'd get pissed. So anyway, so Wells and the sergeant, they're in their shower. He's watching him shower. And you can hear Sarge getting mad because it echoed. It would echo. And you can hear him, back of your neck. Back of your neck. That's your neck. You got to wash the back of it. We're laughing our asses off, man. It was pretty funny. But that was the first sergeant's directive. Told the sergeant, you will go in the shower with him and you will stand there while he washes himself. This is a freaking 19-year-old man. Boy, whatever. I don't know. That was Wells, though. And Wells was a trip. God, he was a trip. We spent 5 days with the German army. I guess it's called the Blitzkrieg or Wunderkrieg. something. Blitzkrieg, I don't know. But the German army, we spent 5 days in army barracks on a German army post with them. And it was called the German-American Friendship Fest. And we competed against them in different events and stuff. They taught us their weapons, we taught ours, and just exchanged ideas and stuff. They were laughing at our uniforms because we had creases going down the sleeves and we had really, really shiny boots. And they thought that was really the oddest, strangest thing. Because their boots were just black, brush them off, and their uniforms, wash them, dry them, and then hang them on a hanger and put them in the closet. You know, none of this starch or stuff. They were allowed to have big old mustaches. They were allowed their hair to be down, as long as their hair didn't go past the collar. If it touched the collar, fine. You know, they were just really relaxed. You know, it was pretty cool. For breakfast, they have a big, huge breakfast. Lunch, a nice size lunch. And for dinner, cold cuts. That's it. That's all the Germans ate for dinner, cold cuts. Because we came in for dinner the first day, we were really hungry. We'd come in for dinner and there was like some sausages and some hams laid out with some cheeses, a bowl of fruit, and some rye bread. And we were like, okay, where's the dinner? And one of the German soldiers was like, yeah, this is dinner. And we're like, oh. We used to have every now and then, this is probably going to be my last story for the first German tour. We used to have, where the military police or the MPs, they would bring these dogs through. And what it was is they come, everybody outside. Everybody outside. And we're like, oh man, you always be like 3 or 4 in the morning. And so we jumped up and we're running outside. And we're all standing out in the grass and everything. And so they would take the dogs through, look for drugs or marijuana or anything like that, and they'd come and we'd go back in. Well, they come back out and the first sergeant's rolling, man. He's laughing his ass off. He walks over to me and he goes, hey, guess what, buddy? They found your stash. And I'm like, what, first sergeant? They found your stash. The dogs, yeah. They went after it. I go, my stash, first sergeant? He goes, yeah, you're chewing tobacco, which we were allowed to have. But I had chewing tobacco, and he says the dogs started scratching at my desk, and the MPs were like, got one, we got one. They opened it, and the dogs grabbed, because I had plugs, you know. Plug is kind of like a small cake of chewing tobacco, and it was Red Man. And he said when they opened the drawer, the dog grabbed that plug of chewing tobacco and took off to run, and the MP was like, oh, no, not that. And they opened it, and he goes, what is it? And they go, tobacco, and closed the desk. I didn't get in trouble, but first sergeant was like, way to go, man, way to make them stupid fuckers. he thought that was just the cat's fucking meow, you know, because he didn't like them coming through the barracks anyway. It was a hassle. It was it was a kind of a, I don't know, an embroachment, is that a good word? But he just didn't like them, you know. I'm looking for a certain word, but it was like an imposition, you know, to have them coming through his barracks. And so he thought that was just, you know, cream of it, baby. But I remember one time this guy, when I first got there, and he ended up getting put out before even a year that I was there. But when I first got there, this guy across from me, you could tell he was a stoner, man. He was, that old boy, just by the way he talked and stuff, and he wasn't a very good soldier. His uniform was always wrinkly and stuff. Oops, knocked the camera over. Well, one day, his platoon sergeant, while they're all sitting in the room talking, comes up the stairs, goes right in the room, walks over, opens a desk drawer, pulls out his marijuana pipe and a little bag of hashish. Obviously, apparently somebody ratted on him. And the platoon sergeant goes, I got your ass now. Say bye-bye. Somebody's going to jail. And he walks down, calls the MPs. And the military lawyers, they were going to, the guy said, well, I want a court-martial. You know, and they went to, I don't remember if it went to the, what's that? It's something judge. One of you guys help me. Maybe the provost marshal. I don't remember, but one of the legal aficionados that was going to handle the case dropped all charges on him. And the platoon sergeant himself was like, Whoa, how are you going to drop charges on the guy? They said because it was an illegal search and seizure. They said you can't just go in the guy's room, open his drawer, and pull it out. That was an illegal search and seizure. So what you should have done was called the military police, who would have issued, because when they came through with the dogs, they had to get a warrant to do that and issue the warrant to the first sergeant. And so you can't just go in and grab stuff. They said he still has rights under the 4th Amendment of the U.S. Constitution, which protects against illegal searches and seizures. They said that includes the soldiers of the U.S. Army. So they had, what he should have done was called the MPs, who would have, on his tip, got a hold of the CID, and the CID would have got a warrant issued to them. They would have went into the barracks, searched the whole barracks, and found his stash. But they couldn't just go into his room and go, I got you. Yeah, they had to go through every room in the barracks and get to his. There you go. That's how you have to do it. That's how they had to do it. So it was an illegal search, seizure. He got away with it. Nothing happened to the guy. He didn't even get Article 15. Nothing. First sergeant told him, you dodged a bullet today. And he ended up getting out anyway. He just left. We had another guy last story. We had this guy. Oh, God, yes. I was there for probably a year and a half before this happened. So this one guy, he was there when I got there, but he goes home on leave. He was from New York. I don't remember where. I want to say Brooklyn or the Bronx. But he was from New York. And he was always like, I'm the bad dude. Get out of my way. I'm from New York. I'll kick your ass, boy. You know, and so he goes home to New York on leave. Okay, which was leave, furlough, vacation, whatever you want to call it. And he goes home, and all of a sudden he doesn't come back, and a rumor starts circulating that he got arrested. And one of the sergeants finally confirmed it, said, yeah, he committed armed bank robbery, and right now he's serving time in New York, awaiting trial, at which point, after his trial, he could be facing also a court-martial or Article 15, or at the most court-martial for being absent without leave because he was arrested past his vacation time, furlough time, leave time, whatever. And they weren't going to excuse that. They didn't care that he was in jail. They said he did not report back timely. So when he finished his civilian jail time, he was facing military time or military charges for not reporting back to the duty station. That's fucking great. That was some good stuff. So those were good times in Germany. And next week we go to my first U.S. duty station outside of basic training, all that. I'll just give you guys a hint. Knees in the breeze. That's right. 5 jump chump. Talk to you guys next week.